Thank you for sticking it out and continuing through this training course. The title of this video, and it's the last video, is Effective Functioning of a Leadership Team. Effective Functioning of the Leadership Team. Romans 12, verses 3 to 8. For by the grace given me, I say to each one of you, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought, but rather think of yourself with sober judgment, in accordance with the faith God has distributed to each of you. Just as each of us has one body with many members, and these members do not all have the same function, so in Christ we, though many, form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. We have different gifts, according to the grace given to each of us. If your gift is prophesying, then prophesy in accordance with your faith. If it is serving, then serve. If it is teaching, then teach. If it is to encourage, then give encouragement. If it is giving, then give generously. If it is to lead, do it diligently. If it is to show mercy, do it cheerfully. Here's just a whole list of lessons in relationships in the team. Number 1, recognize your unique strengths and weaknesses. Romans 12:3 tells us to assess ourselves soberly. Too high a view of ourselves will make us arrogant and difficult to correct. It can even cause us to follow the wrong path because we assume that we've heard God completely and correctly. Too low a view of ourselves will render us ineffective, afraid to make decisions, afraid to ask questions, afraid to give counsel. So recognize your unique strengths. Number 2, be a team player. An ideal team is a team of diverse gifts and talents with a common heart. The team needs each member. Our contribution is vital, but it's not necessarily the only contribution. Our perspective is vital, but it's not necessarily the only perspective. When we all contribute, the team has more complete wisdom and a better perspective. That's not to say that we have to do everything together. Every one of us needs to steward our gift, putting it to work to the best of our ability for the good of the church. And the team leader is also a player on the team. So even though they serve as the captain, they need to play. The leader needs the team just as much and possibly more than all the other players. So don't put your leader on a pedestal. They also have blind spots and need to know what you are hearing and seeing. Number 3, recognize leadership style differences. Every leader has a different default leadership style. It's usually based on their personality. Some leaders are naturally more directive. Here's what we need to do, guys. Others are more consultative. What do you think we need to do? Healthy leaders are aware of their natural style and make an effort to balance their leadership style. Leadership style also needs to adapt to different situations. If a situation is not clear, we need to be more consultative. If options are divided, we may need to be directive and to make the call. The bigger a team gets, the less it can rely on consensus. That means every person agrees. And then it needs to aim at growing healthy consultative processes so that decisions are made through healthy consultation with the team. Number 4, healthy versus unhealthy debate. There needs to be room in teams for honoring yet robust debate. Team members should not be yes men or yes women. This robs the team of the strength of a corporate perspective and a corporate wisdom. But there's a difference between healthy, robust discussion, which honors everyone else's view, and unhealthy discussion. For example, highly emotionally charged, or accusatory speech, or manipulative speech. That's not healthy. Number 5, recognize personal preferences. We need to recognize that our personal preferences and our personalities also play a role in our decision making. So it's wise to distinguish between my preference and what I believe God has said. When we recognize our preference, then it's easier to spot those things. Number 6, and this is a great one, groupthink. Groupthink is when members abandon their initial thinking when they realize that their view is different from those who have already spoken. This is not consensus. This is failing to share what we see or we think. For this reason, different views must be affirmed, respected, and carefully considered. Now, just a word on introverts. Meetings can be difficult for those who are natural introverts because they can be slow to speak, and their thinking in a meeting can be consumed with the views that are already being expressed. So if a significant issue is going to be discussed in a meeting, they may only formulate a view afterwards. So we would help them by informing our team of big issues ahead of the meeting so that we can think about it before coming into that meeting. Last one, number 7, God's sovereignty. God's sovereignty needs to be remembered at all times. We may reach a decision as a team, but we may still be wrong. Or God may have a better idea than the one we managed to come up with. It's also possible that we make a decision that's not ideal, but God still uses this to serve His purposes. Understanding that God is bigger than us will help us avoid analysis paralysis, where we're terrified of getting it wrong, and it'll allow us to make the best decision that we can. So that's it for this video and this course. You may want to watch this a second time, and please do make some notes and share your questions and your thoughts on the group. If you have other thoughts and questions that haven't come up yet, please also share these on the group. Just because something wasn't mentioned on a video doesn't mean that we can't discuss it. So thanks again. God bless you.